There's the driveway. And what have we had to deal with this year? Mudslides, flooding, an epic storm, lots of ice, lots of snow, and a very, very long driveway. Now, you may be asking, Starry, and I know I'm talking in the third person, but yeah, Starry and Mr. Hilder, why on earth would you choose an off-grid location with such a long driveway, knowing that there are weather extremes in your area? Doesn't make any sense, does it? Well, let's talk about that, because this is the pressing question when it comes to off-grid homesteading and a driveway. So number one, when we found this piece of property, the driveway was already there. Yep, it had been there for years. And we walked up the driveway and we saw that it was very long, a little bit steep in one section, had kind of a crazy corner to it that looked like it could be a little dangerous in the wintertime, but it brought us up to this very beautiful, magical homesteading site, which we really fell in love with. So then we sat down and had to really think. We got this great piece of property, but it's got a really long driveway. And because the driveway had already been here, there really was no rerouting it. There was a reason why the driveway was where it was, because it was the best route to get up to the homestead that we wanted to purchase. So there was no changing the driveway, there was no adding to the driveway, there really wasn't anything much that we could do except sit down and devise a plan. If we buy this property with this very long driveway and some of these weather extremes, what can we do to be prepared? That's part of living off the grid. That's part of homesteading. If you choose a piece of property with a long driveway, you got to make that list. And you got to weigh the good and the not so good. And that's exactly what we did. We walked the driveway, we assessed it, we looked at the homesteading site, and then we thought, okay, worst case scenario. Could we get out if there is an epic snowstorm? Well, we had a tractor. That was the plan. And we had a truck with a plow. And we had a four-wheeler with a plow. We also thought about spring when everything thawed. Mud, rolling rocks, streams that may develop in the driveway. Well, once again, how could we divert the water? How could we get out with the mud? Worst case scenario. And again, it went back to equipment. What type of equipment could we have without, breaking the bank and say having to buy a cat or a bulldozer that we could keep on the homestead that could give us the flexibility to stay and adapt and at least survive some of these changing weather conditions. Now, you friends have been with us through all the epic storms. You saw the winter storm, you saw the mudslide, and obviously the floods. This is worst case scenario. And still, we have survived. We are able to get out with our vehicles, and we are able to manage worst case scenario. And this should give you friends hope if you are looking at a homestead or an off-grid piece of property that, yes, has a long driveway, because I'm going to tell you this right now. This is a fact of life. Make it real right now. There is no perfect place to hang your hat. No perfect place. And the reason being is, no matter where you go, you're going to have to deal with the weather sooner or later. I don't care if it's a wildfire. I don't care if it's a mudslide. I don't care if it's too much rain, too little rain, too hot, it's ice. It doesn't make any difference. You cannot escape weather. So when you are looking for that homestead and that off-grid piece of property, keep that in the back of your mind, because it's really not about finding perfection. It is about being independent, being self-sustainable, and being prepared. Why do we go off-grid? Why do we start homesteads? Not to be dependent on anything. Utility companies, the water company, the gas company, the county. No, we don't move off grid. No, we create a prepared homestead that will deal with any extreme as best as we can. Adaptability is what it's about. Practicality is what it's about. Being able to be flexible in any condition. And of course, you know, having the right equipment. Having a stocked pantry in case you can't leave. You've watched us go through it all this year. And there is proof in the pudding. Oh, I don't know. Is it proof in the pudding? Someone said that it's supposed to be eating the pudding or something like that. But whatever it is, we are living the life and showing you friends that we are doing it in extreme elements, and it really did come down to being prepared and having the right equipment. And one last thing. What really is off-grid property? You know, when you're on that search for off-grid property, what are you looking for? You're not looking for a piece of property that's underneath the power lines, right? You're not looking for an off-grid piece of property that has houses right next to each other where you can see your neighbor and you can hear the kids playing and hear the dogs, right? Most of the time, off-grid property is the property that's going to be out in the boondocks. It's going to be up at the side of a mountain. It's going to be on a dirt road. And it might be on a road that you're going to have to maintain. And that is the sacrifice you make to be off-grid. If not, you're looking the property that you're looking at is probably not off-grid. There's a reason why we choose this lifestyle. And the property, when it says off-grid, fits the description. Off-grid means we are far removed from everybody else, and that's what we want. Right? And with that want of that type of property comes the prepared mindedness and the self-sustainability. Right? Yeah. Kind of a description that fits the bill. Off-grid property. Long driveways, in the holla, or way out in the country, in the boondocks, up a mountain road, may have to maintain the road, no electricity except for your own source, your own spring, or maybe you're hauling it, you know. Can't have everything, right? That's off-grid. So remember that. Okay, there we go. Beautiful day, people. And, you know, the days go on, and we're sustaining and we're doing it. Okay, friends, that is Starry's tips for today. Off-grid driveways and being prepared. I hope that clarified things, and I hope that put things into perspective for those of you who are really interested in this lifestyle. Don't be discouraged. Never be discouraged. Just be prepared. All right. God bless.